it's a very deep-rooted fetish that some men need to even just be mentally stimulated. You should always be questioning yourself. You should always be looking for depth and, exploring things. All of those things that used to kind of hurt me, actually taught me a lot about the power that we have, when we're not playing victim. I was off on my own, 13. I kept running away. I was having issues at home. We had some abusive things happening with my stepmom, and so I was focused on what's my next meal. I was working as a janitor in high school.
I don't trust myself after all the pain I've held. I know myself too well, been in and out of hell.
You take food with vitamins though?
Yeah, I do. So after I work out, I have my meal and then I have all my vitamins.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great because when I first started taking vitamins, it was like when the pandemic happened and, I got all cautious and worried of everything going on.
I think we all did.
Right? And I went through the biggest health scare because I was taking zinc and all these heavy vitamins and a lot, like, it's like 10 pills total, vitamin D, magnesium, all these things I would take and high milligrams, the right for my size is a 200-pound ogre. And I ended up feeling sick. I would throw up because I wasn't taking food with it. And then I ended up learning from my friend at the doctor, shout out Dennis Chang, episode 26 or 7, right here. And I ended up finding out that it's because you need to take food specifically with the zinc, because if not, you're going to feel, nauseous and sick. So she's the goddess. She's informed already. Welcome back, folks, here on the Aircast. We have a special guest today, Asian goddess Kat, in the building with us. And it's funny because art makes you think. Good art is supposed to make you think. It's supposed to make you think different ways, supposed to question things. And I think that's a perfect example for our guest today because she's an artist. She's a dom as well, right? This is the term, correct? She's also a facilitator of finding people's homes and place of sanctuary. And we're gonna get into all that. First and foremost, Kat, is this short for your real name?
Yes.
Amazing.
Kat, yeah.
Okay, Catherine with a C?
Caitlin.
Caitlin, okay,
yes.
Nice.
It's a cute name, but I like Kat.
I love Caitlin. Caitlin's awesome. Shout out Caitlin Clark.
Thank you.
Are you familiar with Caitlin Clark?
No.
She's like the Michael Jordan of girl basketball.
Okay, go Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, she's awesome. And she's a white girl too, so imagine she's getting she's dealing with a lot of pushback for that right now because she's balling. But she's doing her thing.
Hey, her work speaks for herself.
And it's something with the Caitlins right now taking over. It's the year of the Caitlins here in 2025. And Kat, we want to start with the important questions here because the people, the fans, the world, everybody wants to know where exactly. So let's start with actually the family heritage because you're Asian and what was the other half?
So I am South Korean, Mexican, and Spaniard.
Wow, incredible mix. Yeah. So what sides from mom? What sides from dad?
Okay, so mom is Korean and Mexican, and dad, from what I know, is Spaniard. So I am adopted, and this is just off of what I was told.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, got it. And do you have any interest in doing the backstory or adopted? So adoption goes different ways.
Yeah.
Or do you have any I guess leads is that the right way to say
Yeah, I was in contact with them back in my hometown, Denver, Colorado.
Okay, from Denver.
Yeah.
What town in Denver, if you know what I'm asking?
Denver?
Yeah, what part of Denver?
DTC area, yeah. Okay. So
when I was a younger kid, I spent 2 summers with my aunt and rest in peace my uncle in Snowmass Village. So I like to try to educate myself on.
Do you still go back?
I'm dying to. It's one of the most beautiful memories of my life. I feel like that's what I remember Colorado was like is probably what I hope heaven's like, to be honest. The mountains, the greenery,
You feel the ambiance and the high energy when you're there too, because the air is so pure with all of the nature.
I just felt that. My mind just took me back there. Describing the visuals of it, it opened up my lungs. And that's crazy that's what you say. Yeah. Wow. So, okay, that's... Anyways, go to Colorado, guys.
Yes.
So, DTC. So, you said that's downtown?
DTC is if you're from Denver, you know where DTC is. Inglewood area. It's not in the hub of Denver at all. It's a little bit more north.
Okay, got it. So that's where you're adopted, and then so once you're adopted, you relocate. completely?
No, I was adopted in Denver.
Okay.
My dad, who raised me, he knew my birth mom, and you know, they separated, but I was his little girl. He wanted to raise me. He took me in as his own, and that's how I was adopted. So it wasn't the
Wow.
traditional, you know, put up for adoption. It was more of just taking the responsibility of a child that wasn't your own.
Okay, and pardon me if this is too forward. If you know, I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah.
So, your dad knew your birth mom,
Yes.
your biological mom. Okay,
Yeah.
but your dad's not necessarily the dad we're speaking of. The dad that raised you is not your biological father. No.
No.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
And so she handed custody to him. He adopted me and he raised me. So
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. So that's
shout out to
incredible.
G Diddy.
Shout out to that. That's his name.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what he likes to be called, G Diddy.
I love it. No Diddy, but shout out to G Diddy. I love that.
G Diddy. Okay.
Do you have a cool picture of him we could drop here, like a cute
Yes,
one?
I
Okay,
do.
yeah, I'll put it in the
Yeah,
edit.
yeah,
So.
you guys are gonna.
Cause I always have like a no Diddy picture that
What do
comes
you
out.
what do you think when you think of G Diddy?
G Diddy, I think of a happy version of like you know, Diddy's evil, so I think like of not evil version of Diddy. I think like a good guy
Yeah.
that's like, you know, a pastor.
He
you
has
know.
like a fedora and like a 2-piece, and
Fire.
he's walking in every room like, oh, I'm here. Like, yeah.
I love
He's
it.
very supportive of everything I do too. So
I love it. Support's awesome, and you know, it takes a community in this
Right.
life, because you could go far alone, but you could go
Yeah.
so much further with people, and
Right.
you know, building a network. So shout out G Diddy, not the real Diddy. I mean, not they're both the real Diddy, but you guys know what it is. Jesus Christ! All right, so and theater. You did theater growing up?
Yes, yeah. So like choir, theater, I love to perform. It's always something that came really natural to me.
How young are you doing theater? Like elementary school?
No,
like
middle school.
middle school?
Yeah.
Okay, so wow. So middle school, I think you're already like your mind's like, you know.
Yeah,
Okay.
and not like, it's just like we had programs out there for music, and I always volunteered. Anything regarding music, I was there, you know, and performing, most importantly.
So yeah, and theater's
Yeah.
a big thing. I feel
Yeah.
like theater's one of the hardest things, because it combines not just musical talent, it combines
Mm-hmm.
acting talent, because you're memorizing lines. It combines, you know, public speaking, public performing. That's another thing too, because
Yeah.
people could make music and then they go on stage and you
And
know
they freeze.
Exactly. Same thing with
Yeah.
actors. Some people are great acting like in rehearsal, and then there comes the time to perform and it's raps.
You
Theaters
know,
all got to do it all off the rip.
You have to do everything, and you just got to go up there. And I used to get nervous when I was younger, but you know, I would just be like, fake it, just fake the confidence,
Fake it
just
till you
get
make it.
up there. Yeah.
Wow. And then once you're in the
And then it
leads-
just started coming more naturally, you know.
Wow,
Like,
that's a real veteran perspective to have, to have gone through the reps enough to say, yeah, well, eventually you get through it. So what's like, are you doing like what's like one of the first plays? Like, are you doing like Romeo and Juliet, things like that?
Grease was
Grease.
the
Oh,
first.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love
Yeah.
Grease.
I was just an extra though, but it was so much fun learning the dance rehearsals.
Still part of it.
I know, it's
Yeah.
so much fun.
Well, do you have a favorite Grease song?
No, I love all of it. I love all of it. There's different like parts and aspects of each song, and you know.
I love Grease Lightning. Call back to the old joke. So and all right now. So well let's stay on the theater part. So when you're doing theater, you're performing. When does music come into play?
Well, music is always.
It's pretty much part of it.
always- Yeah, I would say like early childhood, I would gather all my family around, and I'd be like, "All right, everybody, I'm performing."
Nice. So you're doing the in-home family
Yeah.
concert. Okay,
My
got
first
it.
family concert was Hercules.
Coachella. It's like Coachella.
Yeah, Hercules. I was Megra. I was the star. Elementary school during recess, I used to do dance rehearsals, and I would sell tickets to my show
Wow.
to the other students. And I was like, I accept pencils. I accept cool erasers. Just show up. And I would like draw these little tickets, and then I would write letters to my dad, and I'm like, I'm gonna pick you up in the limo later. You're gonna come to my shows.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's
so
so
I've
incredible.
always been super like, you know,
World
theatrical
building.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny, because
Yeah.
you mentioned you do that with your music, but you've been doing that at a young age with everything you're interested in. That's incredible to have not just the business acumen of selling tickets, but you gamify it, and it's like, yo, I'll take pencils, you know, I'll take markers, anything
All right,
to promote the
I'm a
cause.
hustler.
Yo.
First and foremost, I'm a boss. So I'm like, all right,
Wow.
how can I get all the cool stuff, perform, do it all, you know?
Yeah, and then just you tell dad, yo, we're gonna get the limo for you. Get ready, be ready.
I
Like,
know. He still has the little letter. He gave it to me. I know.
That's
I know.
incredible.
And I had 2 tickets in there for him, so he could have a guest.
That's awesome. Okay, so and then do you recall like when did you first start making original music
The first original song.
or recording?
Yeah.
Do you start like recording covers or anything like that? I know some
no.
people start that way. Some as well.
No, I'm open to it. But the first time was just, in a trap studio. I was with some friends and we just started recording. I have it. It's called Bonnie and Clyde. And
Is it rappy? Because a lot of your stuff now is like singing,
No.
so it's the same vibe, like more
R&B.
harmonious. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. All right, and then and that's post high school. That's
In high school.
in high school.
In
Okay.
high school. I only made 1 record, and most of my performing was really at school, like poetry slams. I would go actually do like talent shows out, just local ones, things like that.
You went to school in Denver? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is all in Denver. Got it.
All
so
in Denver, yeah.
So what's the music scene out there? Like are there a lot of like was SoundCloud rappers a thing like in high school? Did you have a lot of people that were
Oh,
rapping?
yeah, I was on SoundCloud, and at high school everyone was trying to.
Got it. So that's the thing. They were trying to get you on, and so you did one, right?
I wasn't actually trying to pursue it professionally back then. Back
Right.
then I was just like, I'm gonna go perform, I'm gonna go sing, but I didn't really understand I didn't understand business, I guess, or structured. I wasn't thinking, hey, I'm gonna go pursue music.
With the music. So
Yeah.
let's think about that cat.
Yeah.
Cat in high school that did the one song with friends messing around in the studio or whatever. What does she think she's going to college for? Like, what's the plan in high school? Like, what do you think? Like, what's the dream right there at that time? Do you recall? Because you've been a fashionista for a while. Is that what's going on at that time?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, even in high school, I had like the big flowers, the big outfits, singing. But honestly, and this is very, real and raw, I had a really hard time in high school. I was off on my own, 13. I kept running away. I was having issues at home. We had some abusive things happening with my stepmom, and so I was focused on what's my next meal. I was working as a janitor in high school.
Wow.
Trying to get food for myself, and it was really hard. So I wasn't thinking, what am I going to do for my future? I was thinking, like, what does the next day look like,
I'm doing it for right now, for my present.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's tough to go through that at such your early age, especially when you're supposed to be developing in life. I'm sorry, to even have to.
I think it's character building, and I think it taught me a lot.
100%.
It taught me how to hustle and navigate life. But I'm older now, and I'm looking back, and I'm like, all of those things that used to kind of hurt me, actually taught me a lot about the power that we have, when we're not playing victim.
100%. And it's an analogy for, I think boxing is probably where it came from, but like you never know until your back's against the wall.
Right.
And
Do you box?
No.
Or you just analogy?
little clip of me with terrible boxing form right here on Instagram. But the truth is, you have to, you never know what you could do until you're in that moment, until your back's against the wall and you got, nothing else, nothing to lose. It's I don't want to say it's beautiful that you had to go through that at an early age, but the truth is pressure makes diamonds, and that's what got you here. And like they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and makes you a diamond apparently. So that's incredible. So when does the fashion comes first then before the music?
I think it's just natural. I think
as a girl that loves to dress and just loves to put it on, like let's put that on.
Yeah, I've always, I don't know. I used to look at like magazines, and I will say my stepmom definitely influenced a level of like fashionista. She would tell me to look at women like Audrey Hepburn and just different women, and she would take different styles and sort of like create my style, even from like an early age. So, yeah, I was dressing a little bit more, I would say, mature than the average, but Yeah, and I'll throw some pictures up there too, just
I
so you can
would
see the
love
vibe.
that. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of the female audience members are gonna look at it and be like, "Oh wow, that's how I wanted to
I
dress."
had like the sequin boots, like up to here, and then just like flowers. I always had some sort of flowers and like feathers and like florals. So I've been very loud from a very early age.
Loud.
Just in like my presence.
Very share vibes.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. All right, and then so let's kind of stay on that then. So in your experience, how does female empowerment get twisted online or like in content nowadays? Because I feel like it's a very slippery slope, because I'm all for female empowerment. I love it. I love what's going on. Like I was preaching to my dad, bro, let's watch Barbie, and we made a whole family thing, and my dad, we were all in tears watching Barbie because it's a good movie about that, and I think it's good for men and women to see things like that, because we don't all got it all figured out. You feel me? Like we cannot put ourselves in a box. Whether you're Barbie or Ken, whatever it is, like we all have variety and range, and that's what life's about. The female empowering thing, I'm all about it nowadays. But like it's with rap, for an example, with hip hop. I love that female, artists are winning so much. But then what comes with it is that it's a lot of saturation, and there's all like for lack of a better word, thought rap. That's what comes with it. Once you have so much people trying the thing, you're gonna have different styles of it. So what's your kind of opinion on female empowerment and how it could get twisted between basically with media nowadays and with content, because it's necessary. And nowadays, 40 years ago, women couldn't even vote.
Right.
I just saw a clip of Sharon Osbourne saying in 1975 is when women were allowed to have credit cards.
Yeah, which her husband was like.
It's a great law, by the way. I agree. RP to go. But yeah, so what's your stance on that? Because you're extremely big on women empowerment.
Yes.
And we're going to get into a little bit further with all the other stuff. But
I'm, like I said, I'm a huge advocate of women. My original calling, I felt, was to help women and children, specifically abused women and children. That's sort of the first thing I ever wanted to do in my life, was help. But women specifically, just because I know how many, struggles I've been through, and I kind of just wish that I had somebody to look up to, or somebody to, help push me through hard times. And so that's why I'm big on trying to build women up. Because I feel like, where do we find our inspiration? And I want to be an inspiration, because now that I've opened my eyes to helping empower women, I've been inspired through I wouldn't even say big figures, just like everyday women that I talk to, that I meet, that are going through something, that share their stories with me. And, I encourage them to be big, to be bold, to go after the things they're scared to go after. I'm really big on that.
Relatable.
If you're scared, if you're scared to go after it, there's something there, and don't let that hold you back. But I think that maybe sometimes it could get misconstrued when people are coming from a place of ego and not, real depth, anything superficial, things that you see, those things at the end of the day, they matter. Taking care of yourself matters, but the depth, where is this empowerment coming from? What are you trying to speak into people? Not just women, people, If it's coming from a place of trying to put down anybody else, let's say, genders or things like that, that's not empowerment. You don't have to step on others to rise up.
You don't have to bring others down to put yourself up.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. We
I
could all win.
advocate for men too. I do.
100%. Right. Mm-hmm. And that the truth is, I feel like this is the same conversation for almost like for people that try to be oh yeah, but all lives matter. It's like, homie, yeah, but the whole point is we're allowed to say Black Lives Matter right now because shit's crazy. You feel me? Like, it's not about, oh, but what about this? All right, relax. You're allowed to speak to everything. You're allowed to speak to. Mm-hmm. I feel like when you narrow it and make it about one group or one thing, then you're going against the message, because if you're all about women empowerment, then you're belittling the other side, and then you can't expect nobody to be on that, and vice versa. Same thing with all the it's mind-boggling to me that so many men are on this red pill ideology with like, and so many people think that that's how to get men. I mean, that's how to get women. That's the right way. And it's like, bro, like to me, it's closeted homosexuality. It's men that don't know how to deal with women, men that are like the nerds in school that didn't get women, and now they're telling people online how to pretend how to get women. And it's like, fool, you meet these people in real life. That's not how it is. Like, these are dorks. Like, just because you're buying bottles in the club and the girls are there for the bottles doesn't mean they're really there for you. The bottle goes away, and like I see it firsthand. Like I've grown and born and raised in Miami, so I guess, I don't know, for better or worse, you know how to decipher. And now on the internet, it's hard to kind of decipher what.
Well, and look at those men. They're talking about empowering other men, but they're not. They're teaching them all the wrong things, and that's, like I said, on both ends, that's coming from a place of ego. That's not depth. Right,
and it's materialistic, and it's kind of like you said, you're supposed to dress up and feel yourself.
Yeah.
But that's for you. That's for you to be like, yo, I'm that bitch. I'm that guy. I'm that Chico. You feel me? It's that energy. You feel me? You're supposed to do that. When you're saying, nah, I gotta put on the Louis V because he's wearing the Ross. It's like, homie, why are you even thinking about that? Like, it's perspective. And I feel like nowadays, especially with social media, full circle moment to how we kind of started the conversation, we have our phones constantly, and it's so easy to just log into somebody else. Low key, we're logging into our page, but we're logging into other people's lives because you're just seeing their highlight reels. Nobody's gonna post, yo, this is my argument with my wife. Oh, and the crazy part is people do that. That's how messed up the human psychology is. You see people posting their arguments and their worst parts, and trying to get something out of it, thinking that, yo, look, this is my partner.
I don't trust people like that, because how are you going to love somebody or be with somebody and then expose them or try to do that to them? It's not real.
And here's the thing. My thing, Kat, is at that moment, that person that's exposing the person, you're already crossed the bridge because you and that person are going to work out. But be selfish about it and think about your future partners. Why are you going to do that to any future partner? Because they're going to look back and be like, oh, you did that to your past partner.
Exactly.
That's like me, how I look at cheaters. You're a frivolous girl, whatever, we hook up, but you're cheating on your man with me or with another guy. Like, you don't think I'm gonna think you're gonna do that with me or anybody else? Like, it's
and I've talked about this a little bit. Just cheating in general, especially as a woman, like, and you have a husband or a man, you're putting them in danger because they can't protect you if they don't know what you're doing, what kind of situations you're putting them in. That's not love. You gotta look out for your partners.
Yeah, it's crazy. This world is crazy. You never know what people are dealing with. You never know what situations you're putting yourself into, and all it takes is one moment. And
you don't know.
And you could ruin your life, somebody else's life, everybody's life for one thing. So be selective of the people you hang out with. Life is so short. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. So do you think being a dom is about control or is it about communication, healing?
So I can't speak on everybody, but specifically me, I did go to college for 2 years for human psychology. And as a dom, how I operate is mutual consent. Everything is very consensual. I'm not coming from a place of, I need to dominate you for the sake of domination. It's just a mental consent. And I don't get too deep into it. As deep as I get into it is like really just stepping on people. It's called trampling, and I walk on them, but that can be very healing.
This is what you have on your page, feet on the people. Okay, so that's the professional.
It's called trampling.
The professional term. Okay, got it. Trampling.
And a lot of them say it's healing just because of like the pressure points, and they feel like there's like a weight lifted off of them.
I see that. Okay, I can see that angle. Okay, and how does one sign up to be trampled? Is this like a Craigslist thing?
I'm a businesswoman, so they need their ID. They have to sign a content consent form as well, because I do release the content.
Do you have an application like thing?
I have a contract you have to sign.
But they have to email you. They have to reach out to the team. Got you. Okay, got it. Okay, sure thing. In the community, are you familiar with like others in the community? Like, I'm outside looking in.
So we have a whole community. I have models that are also doms. Foot domination. So it's the FFC. We're foot models, and
the FFC. I love that.
The FFC is what it's called. Yes. Shout out to my girls, Izzy and Lulu. And so, The foot community actually is very kind of like tight knit. Like we all, talk. They come to Florida. Lulu lives here. Izzy travels, but yeah, I feel like it's a good community because everybody's open. Not a lot of people talk about their fetishes or just like things that they're into because you're on the outside looking in. You could think this is kind of weird. People are signing up to get trampled by feet. You know what I mean? It sounds weird.
Outside looking in.
But to these people, it's a very deep rooted fetish that some men need to even just be mentally stimulated. And so starting from the beginning as a dom, everything is consensual. Everybody is very respectful. I've never had anybody approach me that's disrespectful. On the other end, I have experienced doms being disrespectful to men for no reason at all, other than because they have a fetish. So it's kind of interesting to see how women will get into this industry just to monetize off of it without actually understanding the person. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and so there's been a little bit of a problem with that because TikTok girlies. They say, hey, come in, sell feet pics. It's all good. Degrade men. It's not like that. You got to build relationships with people, see what they want, see what they like. You don't just approach a man and say, hey, you dirty pig, send me some money. It's not how it works.
So it's funny how when things become mainstream, they get kind of, mainstreamed out and, for lack of a better term, like hoard out in that sense. Like TikTok kind of now is the way they run with things, when that's crazy. So that's what's happening to the community now. Because it's becoming more popular, I guess. Now you're seeing it more in mainstream and it's just more accepting. Also, I guess it kind of, I don't want to say it goes hand in hand with the LGBTQ stuff, but the LGBTQ, I guess, agenda or whatever, that's now people are being more open now, and I argue. A lot of people are like, oh, it's these evil companies. Why are they doing this? And I'm like, well, sex sells. If we look back to the 60s, 70s, Greece, all these movies, they're big sold on the fact that it's a romance. It's a guy and a girl, and it's a sexy guy and a sexy girl. So now these companies are like, yo, we could quadruple, double up, triple up if we got a movie with a girl and a girl, a movie with a guy and a guy, a movie with a guy and a girl and a girl.
Well, and some people are genuinely into that,
It exists, right? Yeah. And that's the whole point. It's always existed. And now, if nowadays that the world is being less taboo about it, the companies are going to make more bread about it. And, you could argue that that's the agenda, but it's common sense. Yeah, like the agenda's money. Yeah. People are like, oh, they're making us gay. It's like, people have been gay. They've always been gay. They're always going to be gay. You
just didn't know.
And that's kind of crazy too to say, yeah, but they're gay because they're watching gay people. And it's like, I don't know, like you do the work, like if you see gay guys, if you like that shit, you're gay. Like if you don't like that shit, then you're not. Same thing with women.
And at the same time, it's like, what does it matter? Like if you're doing the right things in life and you're building a good, what does it matter?
Don't watch it. Yeah, it's like it's not all gay.
It's
that's
offending
my point.
you. It's offending you because low key.
Yes.
You got something in there.
Facts.
And no shade.
Yes, and that's what's crazy, kind of full circle too about the internet. There's so much information out there. And I guess humans don't know how to decipher it and don't know how to live with it.
Right.
And I guess what that does is it makes people question themselves. And when you are uncomfortable with yourself and that reality, that's where the hostility comes from.
You should always be questioning yourself. You should always be looking for depth and, exploring things. Like, think about it, Don't just be so surface level and be what everybody wants you to be. Really, dig deep. I would say the fetish community has really made me dig deep on things that I am interested in, not interested in, things I didn't know I was interested in, but I'm learning a lot about myself. And I feel like that's very empowering.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. So when exactly do you get do you discover the community? Like when does that happen? Because
2023 is when I first got in.
Okay, and how do you discover this?
I have people in my life that introduce me to the game. I started with actually meeting a couple of women. I was introduced to some women that are doms, foot doms, and Queen Size and Brie.
They're already doing it.
They have fans, they have a fan base, and they kind of showed me the ropes. They're like, hey, this is what it is. You decide how far you go with it. Once you put something on the internet, it's out there forever. Understand that too. And just very warm and welcoming, and it's kind of how I got into it. And then, you know, I just started posting. I got a lot of great feedback from the community. I didn't even realize when I first came in how big of an impact I was going to make on the community just off of the power of the feet.
Wait, okay, so what do you mean impact on the community?
Lots of fans, lots of influence. Because you know, I'm naturally like theatrical, so I always have these like dramatic designs, and I'm just
very cinematic. Yeah, it's very. I don't want to say Hollywood because Hollywood comes with these bad connotations nowadays, but it's very put together. It's very presentable.
It's how you package it, you know.
Well packaged. Great way to
not
say
what you're doing, how you do it. You gotta maneuver.
Well executed.
So 2023, and fast forward to now, I have a huge fan base. I have a lot of like returning clients. And a lot of good things because they also support the music and anything that I do. My community follows me on whatever venture I go on. You know, they're very supportive.
It's the brand. People keep asking me, yo, what are y'all even on in these episodes? Like, how do we go from deep convos to wild jokes to life advice and back in 30 seconds flat? Let me put you on game. We're on Canna Kings. Whether it's CBD, Delta 8, or THCA, they got that top shelf, lab tested, smooth hitting goodness. No paranoia, no couch lock, no bad vibes. Just that clean, focused flow that lets the creativity flow and the comedy hit. So if you rock with the pod, support the squad, head over to cannakingsco.com. Load up your cart and use promo code UBTHCCrew at checkout for a little royalty level discount. Canna Kings, we're on it. And now you could be too. See you on Cloud 9. Start selling vitamins one day, they're going to be buying that.
You know, and I'm not going to sell them shit. I'm going to sell them what I genuinely believe in.
Facts.
Yeah.
100%. And that comes kind of like the same thing with the subs and the dom relationship and the dynamic. It's big on communication, and that's big on trust.
Yeah.
And that's your brand. You know, at the end of the day, like, I started my podcast to help my music, but there's a reason why I don't go into political content. Like, and I have friends that are dying to do it, and I know that stuff will go viral, and I'll be where I get subscribed within a day. And same thing with the red pill content and like the fresh and fit Tate stuff. And it's like, that's cool, that's there, but I have a baby sister, and I have a mom, and I have a grandma, and I have my aunt and sister, and like, I want to have a daughter, and I want to have a wife. And it's like, I don't believe in that stuff myself. If I did believe in it, then I'd be more inclined to do it. You feel me? But I don't want to do that. I don't want to, even go into that stuff and open that can of worms, because there's so much other things that I'd rather go into in this world. So, but I don't want to build my audience and community off that stuff, because then I lose their trust when I do the stuff I want to do. So you feel me? I'm taking the long way out, but we're gonna build the interest on things I'm interested in.
And now I feel responsible, because I'm like, okay, now you guys are following me, like, you look to me for certain things, so now I feel responsible, and like, I just feel responsible for them.
But that's a you thing, because you have integrity, and that's because you care, and you what would I want somebody I'm following to put out? You think about that. I could see a world where other people don't give a fuck. They don't care, and they're like, well, what's gonna pay my bills, and what's gonna get my kids fed, and what's gonna get me fed. And it's a grimy world. It's a grimy, nasty world. And, you have to see it for both sides, unfortunately. So.
Well, and kind of bringing it back to empowerment, for the women, I wanted to show them you don't just have to niche down to one thing, because we're women at the end of the day. You're not just foot models. We can be anything. And so with the next step of the things, that I've been doing with my life, I just want to show them you can do it, Don't let the internet tell you this is what you decided to do. You're going to be this forever. It's not true.
That's what I love about Barbie. The second female guest I ever had was it's probably my most fiery debate to this day with Hannah Weirdness Rants. But we were just not communicating correctly, because I'm pro women as well. And she thought I wasn't. She thought I was like, I'm invited on a podcast for some Andrew Tate stuff. Fuck all you guys. She was on that energy. But there's a point in the middle of the pod where I'm like, that's why I love Barbie, because Barbie shows that women could be an astronaut. You could be in a beauty pageant. You could be a construction worker, you could be, a lawyer, you could be a boxer, you could do it all. Like, that's the point of life and range. Like, you can't put yourself in a box. Like, that's what the world tries to do to us. Try to understand us.
And it's sometimes to humble us, to keep us at a certain level where they feel comfortable. And we're not here to make people comfortable.
Wow. All right. And what's a textbook hot girl problem?
I would say people just trying to tear me down for no reason. You know, I speak about encouragement and inspiring, and I just throughout my life I've experienced a lot of like hate, bullying, groups of people, men and women, just getting together, trying to figure out like what makes her tick, what's gonna make her. Because I am very stoic. You know, people in high school didn't know I was, you know, going through different homes and struggling to eat. I was very stoic, but they still wanted to try to, you know, pick me apart and figure out what they could do to break me. And I think for me personally, I feel like that's kind of an issue. Just people trying to figure out, okay, well, you're beautiful. Like, you don't deserve anything. You know, you deserve to get picked on or whatever it may be. Now it's the internet's just mad about my feet. You know, they're like, oh, your toenail length, or they're just picking little things. It's just anything. And I'm like, okay.
You know what those people eat? Peanut butter and jelly.
Like, you know what? I don't even have time for it because I genuinely don't. I'm working so much, and I'm just like, okay, all right. Like, I'll show love to the people that are supporting me, and then just leave it at that. You know, I leave the hate comments. I'm just like, oh well.
That's, you know, it's hard to you know, a human, as our brain works, is you'll have 100 positive comments, and then all it takes is one hater talking about one stupid thing that's
terrible,
not even true.
Yeah.
You know, that's why the best thing with social media, especially as a creator, post and ghost. You know,
yeah, I had to do that because when you just sit there and you read all these terrible things that people are saying about you, it's just like, all right, well, that's a mood killer. I'm gonna go cry. But I'm just like, oh, I just got it. When I focus on work, and that's just advice to anybody, when you get a lot of hate, just focus on the work and just let them talk.
100.
Yeah.
That's when you're busy, you don't got time or energy to even think about anything.
Go do something fun.
So let's pivot on to the music. So
Yes.
pop funk, that's the new vibe now. That's the new direction we're going in.
Yeah.
What draws you to that sound originally?
Inspiration comes from everywhere, but really my partner, he created this whole album with only a couple of people, and so just really getting in like the mindset, the zone, listening to different women, some of the women that have inspired me from an early age. Selena, I think every young Latin girl was inspired, and not Latin, Selena, Gwen McCrae. I've been listening to Tina Marie, and just like, you know, as a woman, we can get really like in our feelings, you know, and so it's good to get into like a happy vibe and, you know, put out music that makes people want to dance. I feel like that's what I want to do.
That's awesome.
I could drag them down to the depths of, you know, where my heart goes, but no, we gotta lift up women.
So you're actively choosing to not even make not
feed it, yeah.
Not make like heartbreak music and stuff like that, because
Yeah.
you could do that. Like, don't get me wrong, Marvin's Room, like, I love sad music.
Me too.
Like,
I do love it, but I don't want to live there.
I love that, but that's a mature decision to make, you know, because Pitbull, one of my goats, family friend, you know, my dog, friend of the show, he changed his whole career when he decided, yo, I'm not gonna make no hip hop, I'm not gonna make none of this stuff anymore. I'm just gonna stick to happy, positive, go lucky party music.
Yeah.
And he went from Mr. 305 to Mr. Worldwide. It just,
You know, because he's raising the vibration, and that's spiritual work.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess as an artist myself, and really as a fan, truly, you know, part of me wants to hear Pitt, you know, go on some like talk on some like, yeah, but y'all don't know what I'm feeling behind closed doors, but I could see his world where he's like,
the happiness is strength, because he goes through a lot that we don't know about. That happiness is strength.
And that selfishly, as a fan, I'd love to hear him, you know, talk on that now and give us that perspective. But as an artist, I see, as a business, I can see where it's like, for what? Don't even, as a human, like you just said, as a human, don't even open yourself to that, because we deal with it enough. Life brings you down itself. So why, you know, create
So go out there, have a good vibe. Everyone's dancing. That's feeding something to you, because we don't know what people are going through behind closed doors. You know, and he's choosing to have that happy vibe when he goes out. It probably inspires him to actually go out there. You know.
Yeah. It's like, you know, like we were saying, it's a responsibility. When you feel that sense of responsibility for your audience, then it changes the game. And so, does your Asian, or even your Spanish or Mexican influence, does that influence like the music, or in any way?
A little bit, yeah. You know, just the Mexican roots and listening to different music, and not so much the Asian. I've been listening to some K-pop. I feel like my voice naturally has like a higher like Asian tone, which is funny because I don't speak Korean, but there's times when I sound, I've been told I sound Asian in certain times. I'm like,
I could see
okay,
that. The vibe too, with at least the 2 records that you have streaming right now that I've heard, I could see where you could definitely go in that route, that direction. Okay. And I'm not too educated with K-pop yet, besides like I guess the really, really mainstream stuff.
Me too.
But there's a lot of like different types of Asian music. Are you familiar with Kingdom Hearts?
No.
Oh man, it was like a video game that came out when we were younger, and they mixed like a bunch of nerdy, like famous Final Fantasy games were called, with Disney properties.
Okay.
And like they made an original story, but they had a really cool soundtrack that had a lot of Asian music in it.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll send you some stuff.
me.
Yeah, I'll send you some stuff to check it out. I think you'd really enjoy it. So that's funny because you mentioned some of these people, but I had written this question because I wanted to list some of inspirations that you have talked about before, and I just want you to tell me one thing that comes to mind when you think of these people.
Okay.
Tina Marie.
Oh, one thing that comes to
mind.
mind.
Yeah, one thing that maybe cross references with you as in your brand, or one thing that you maybe take from them.
You know, maybe just from her stage presence, she's very fearless.
Stage
presence. And
presence.
I admire that.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. What about Jill Scott?
Ooh, the sensuality. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Marianne Fisher.
You know, she was powerful. She's a powerhouse. She's got a lot of, you can feel it. You can hear it.
Nice. Okay. And then you mentioned her, Gwen McCrae.
The vibe. The vibe. It feels so good. Yeah. She just makes me feel so good.
And then we can't go without mentioning Selena. What's up?
Everything. I love her. Her voice, her heart. Her heart was like the biggest thing that touched me, because I was like, damn, I love you. Like I feel so much love when I think about her, you know?
Yeah, it's over. Okay, that's good. That was cool. That was fun. And are you ever worried? You kind of touched on this earlier, but are you ever worried that like the brand, maybe the overall image maybe overshadows the music, or are you seeing it as all like one thing, kind of like as one living, breathing thing?
However I capture their attention, I feel like, and this could just be my perception, but I feel like when I capture people's attention, I keep it. So it's just about me informing them what the mission is, you know, who I am, things like that. At first, you could hate, but I'm not going to retaliate with hate. I'm just going to educate you on what the vibe is. If you don't like it, keep going.
100. Okay. And then what brought you on the spiritual journey? Have you always believed in God since young?
So my parents did not raise me to be religious. My dad told me he was raised in a Catholic home, very strict Catholic.
Let's pause it.
Yeah.
Do they believe in God, or are they
my dad? I mean, he's never told me whether he does or doesn't.
Doesn't. Okay.
He said, hey, I was raised Catholic, but you choose what you want to believe in. So
right, but that's not going out of his way to say, hey, there's no God, you know, and that's not also going out of his way to say there is a God, right? So indifferent. Dad's indifferent about it. Okay.
Different. Didn't put his viewpoints on me. So I studied from an early age. Buddhism is where I first entered. And then I studied. I had a really good friend, rest in peace, Rukia. She taught me a little bit about her Muslim religion. I learned about Jehovah's Witness from an early age. I was educating myself through my friends and just seeing, you know, what different people practice, what they believe in.
Wow.
And so I, from an early age, got like a very large scope of what it is to believe in something, to, you know, have some sense of spirit inside of you. My stepmom is half Native American, so we would have rituals where we'd go out to Mother Nature and, you know, put fruits and just offerings and, you know, just tribal things like dances and stuff like that, you know. I learned a lot about different cultures from a very early age. And even the high school I went to, it's called South High School. That high school has children from all over the world come to that high school. Yeah, because there's a program to bring them to America and to teach them, you know, and to have them live and thrive here. So I didn't grow up really thinking anything. I was just like, what resonates with me through all these different religions and all these different things that people believe in.
And if you can think back to your perspective at the time, kind of experimenting with all these things, do you find that they're all very different, or do you find that they're all very similar?
Similar, different ways of communicating a similar thing.
So like, yeah, you hang out with your friend that teaches you about the Muslim religion, and then you probably have another friend that was a Jehovah's Witness.
Yep.
Do you leave the Jehovah's Witnesses house saying, man, they're so different, or you're like, they're actually a lot similar than they would,
I would look at the similarities. With any religion, there's also a lot of, strict rules or just things that I feel like are ways of controlling the mind. And I'm a lot more expansive in my thoughts. And so that's why I would just take pieces. I would take pieces, the stories, the lessons. I think that's really like the biggest piece you should take from religion is the stories and, humanity, being kind and being a good person. I feel like there's a lot of lessons to be learned.
Mm-hmm.
And not so much, I never really took like the shameful, parts,
Do you have a set faith now? Do you have like a set religion that you
I
say?
don't have a set religion.
But you're
very,
but you
I'm
believe in
very,
God.
I feel like I'm just tethered. I'm tethered to source, to spirit, and I feel like I have a very close relationship, but it didn't come easy, I had to build that.
Definitely takes work. It takes work, and anything that that would be easy wouldn't be. It'd be superficial. Wouldn't feel real. It wouldn't feel real, in my opinion. So, on that same note, then, we've talked about this before in your earlier that you've had moments of disempowering positions in your life from a very young age. That's when you spoke about that, like with the Voyage interview, and that was what you were talking about earlier today, like those moments young.
Yeah, because when you're younger, you don't have control. Seemingly, it just you're being told by authority figures all the time what to do, where to go, how to be. And I felt very helpless, and then also growing up without either of my birth parents was disempowering for me because I'm like, I don't actually have any, I didn't feel like connected. When you grow up, you feel connected to like your family, your roots. I felt so displaced. And I was like, I don't have anywhere where I feel like I can connect,
And this is the same time frame where you're learning about these religions, because this is school, right?
These are things that just the thoughts that pop up, and I feel very disempowered. I feel displaced. I don't feel like I have a community. I didn't feel like when you grow up with your roots, you have community. I didn't feel like I had that, and so it was just a lot of confusion for me. Yeah.
Do you feel like you have that now?
I'm building that, and I'm realizing community is not. Doesn't have to be your roots, what you are. Attach yourself to, I'm Mexican, so I'm gonna have my, it's more of just the spirit. It's like what people resonate, morals, things like mindset, things like that. That's community.
Your network, because you could be in your community, but if you don't talk to anybody in your community or your city, that's not truly.
It's your network, and
it's
building
who's gonna show up when you die, who's gonna show up at your funeral. That's almost really kind of your community. And then, so how do faith and sensuality coexist for you? That's a really important thing I want to get into, because I feel like people think nowadays it's mutually exclusive. Like, I feel like so many people think like being confident in your sexuality and in your body means that you're not faithful to God in some way. Like, I feel like the two things can't be true at the same time. So what's your take on that?
Well, everyone is able to live how they want to live. I think that for me personally, how can you have a sense of God in your heart and not accept every part of yourself, and that's reverting back to the shame. I don't feel like as humans we need to be shamed for having these like thoughts or urges, or unless you're harming people. That's a whole nother story. But consensual adults, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Okay. And do you have any like daily or weekly spiritual practices to keep you grounded? I know you're not necessarily big on like one specific religion, or like I am the same. I don't have, my dad brought me up with a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses. I was baptized a Catholic as well, but to this day I don't have a set Bible that I say, that's the one, or anything like that. But I try to pray to God before every major meal. I try to, thank God as much as I can. Do you have any like things like that? Do you like have like a set prayer day or like any moments, anything like that?
No, I feel like kind of like what we talked about before, just like my morning routine. I do listen to gospel music, and I do, I do actually have a Bible too, and that I read just for like the lessons.
What kind of Bible? Do you know like what?
King James.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, it's.
We'll drop
it's
a picture
one,
of a Bible.
I'll send I'll send you a picture. It's actually specifically made for women, just because it kind of highlights different points that I think that women should learn from. But yeah, I'd say daily. It's a daily thing. Yeah.
And do you think you're walking in your purpose now, or do you think you're still evolving into it?
I'm definitely evolving. Definitely evolving. Yeah, I'm young. I feel like we're all young. You're young. Yeah. We don't have it all figured out. We're doing
100.
the best that we can, and we're not hurting anybody along the way.
No, 100. And I love what I'm, for an example, not to make everything about me, but I love what I'm doing with the pod. I love what I'm doing with my music, but I still feel like there's something, that there's still a lack of, that we still got to figure out. So I just want to figure
It'll
out.
come.
Yeah, but you seem very well grounded, and you seem very, you're, like you said, you're very stoic and you're very introspective, and you have a incredible perspective on not just your trials and tribulations, but life in general. So I just truly wanted to see if you feel like right now you think this is it, like you're right now in your purpose, or like you're allowing yourself the grace to still evolve and grow. So that's cool to hear that. It's refreshing to hear that, to be honest.
Yeah. Maybe on my deathbed I'll be like, I'm here. And
That's not bad. That's not bad. And then so we have this segment called the Shoot Your Shot segment, where if I've opened it up to everybody now. So if you're a content creator, an artist, we could reach out to anybody you like to create with. Maybe an artist on the musical tip, like vocal artist. If maybe on the production wise, if there's any any producers out there you maybe want to reach out to, any. I don't know if there's like famous subs or anything like that.
No, I haven't even thought about it at all.
Any
Actually,
any artists, any female artists you maybe would like to collab with, that you would see that maybe
any that would love to work with me. I honestly, I haven't even thought about it. I've been so focused on
building.
Yeah. I haven't even thought like, oh well, who should I? No, I always feel like the building will create visibility, and then whoever resonates. You know what? Actually, never mind. Callie Uchis.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Never mind. Yes,
that's great.
I would love to collaborate with her.
Very cool vibes.
Yes.
I can see you guys doing some cool stuff.
I discovered her because of an astrologer. Actually, he was reading my chart, and he was like, you know what? You know who has a very, very similar chart to you? He was like, look up this girl. So I looked her up, and he was like, and she does music. And I was like, oh my God, okay. Like, let me see. And her and I have a lot of similar like planetary aspects and things like that. But yeah, he was like, you should look to her for inspiration on how to be bolder, And I was like, okay, I'll take it. I'll take it.
And so an astrologer, is that person local, the astrologer? Can you put me down with them?
That astrologer and I do not talk anymore.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Do you have any astrologers you could put me down with? Yeah. Okay, cool. I'd love to. I have my cards read on the pod, episode 13. That was.
I used to read charts, actually. I taught myself. I have books. Yeah, I know the planetary degrees that they sit in, things like that. Yeah.
I'm so green to all of this. So
when's your birthday?
November 9th.
Okay.
94.
Okay, 94. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're about to be 31.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Dun. No.
No,
it's cool. I love
your
it.
wisdom.
Yeah, honestly, the older I get, the better I get. To be honest, I love it. It's
we love that.
Yeah, and we play this game at the end of every episode called the Big Three Draft, where we pick the best 3 of something or the worst 3 of something. This one, I like to play it simple because you're big on feet. Asian goddess cat, the claws. The claws stay out and stay done for sure. I'd like to pick what are the best colors for a mani-pedi. We're going to go one by one.
In general?
Yeah, right?
I can't say that because, see, I'm a fashionista, so I go off of people's skin tone. Like, there's so many things.
It's not one size fits all, right?
No.
Okay, so fine. Well, we'll pivot a little bit. We'll do top 3 accessories for women. Like, accessories that we're going to go one by one. So, It's gonna be hard.
Can I do what I enjoy or just what I think in general?
So it's yours. It's
okay.
You could combine it. So that's the point of the draft. At the end of the day, the audience is gonna pick who did best, but it's gonna be top 3 women accessories. Now the point is, what you think, what I think is the best. That's kind of the mentality to approach the game with. So we're gonna go one by one. So if you have a set 3 things and I might pick one, then you can't pick it anymore. So that's why we go one by one.
I love accessories, so go ahead.
I had a feeling. So what's your number 1 pick? What's the number 1 go-to accessory that?
Necklace.
A necklace, a nice necklace. Okay. I think earrings, right? The shorty needs some earrings, some type of situation. Okay.
Absolutely. Rings.
Nice rings. Ooh, yeah, rings. You kill it
to
with
draw
the rings.
attention to the hands,
Yeah. Girl with rings is tremendo intriga. It's okay. You know what I like? A anklet. I like a girl with a little anklet situation, little anklet. The thing is, you can't always see the anklet, so it's not the best pick, but.
Well, if you got a foot fetish, they're gonna be looking.
Ooh, right, I gotta keep the pick. Yeah, okay, all right. And what's a third?
Well, for me, as a foot girl, toe rings, huge. Yeah.
Ooh, nice. Huge. That's fresh. Okay.
I always keep toe rings on.
That's fresh. Oh, you know what I love? Does a choker count as an accessory?
Yeah.
I love a girl with a choker. Ugh.
That's a little bit kinky to be wearing.
Yeah, I don't love it, but it's
yes,
definitely it's definitely gonna catch my attention, and then we're gonna have a decision to make. Okay. And Kat, this has been a great time, but we end every episode with one more message you'd like to give the audience before we wrap it up here today.
Yeah, so we'll wrap this up with go after everything that you want to, because this is your life. Do it all fearlessly. I'll back you up.
And I'll back you up too. We'll see you next week. Peace.
I don't trust myself after all the pain I've held. I know